It's recording.
Okay. Cat's out of the bag. I'm shocked we've kept this a secret for so long. In 2 weeks, my show is coming out, which I'm so excited for. And also my business, which I think there's been a lot of curiosity about. Last year, I had thought, you know what, American Riviera, that sounds like such a great name. It's my neighborhood. It's a nickname for Santa Barbara. But it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area. Then Netflix came on, not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in my business, which was huge. So I thought about it, and I've been waiting for a moment to share a name that I had secured in 2022, and this is the moment. And it's called As Ever. As Ever essentially means as it's always been. And if you followed me since 2014 with the TIG, you know I've always loved cooking and crafting and gardening. This is what I do, and I haven't been able to share it with you in the same way for the past few years, but now I can.
She promised reinvention. What we got was déjà vu. From Spotify flops to jam jars dressed like couture, Meghan Markle's 2025 rebrand was supposed to be her clean slate moment. But instead of a phoenix rising, we watched a peacock trip over its own feathers. In a year already drowning in headlines, Markle's attempt to relaunch herself as a modern Martha Stewart turned into a cautionary tale with glitter, and it didn't take long for the cracks to show. June 2025. Meghan Markle pauses her newly minted brand As Ever. Just months earlier, she'd returned to Instagram in full glossy glory. There were curated aesthetics, slow-mo videos, designer kitchen shots, everything but an actual product that meant something. She dropped a podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, popped up on Netflix, made red carpet cameos, and even teased jam jars like they were a revolution.
I always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it. Surprising people with moments that let them know I was really thinking of them.
What? This is probably one of the most glamorous moments of my life.
I'm gonna share some little tips and tricks. I see what color I gravitate to, and everything goes from there. And how you can incorporate these practices every day. That's what you want. You want that shape and texture. Come on. This is about connecting with friends. I love that we're doing this together for the first time. Making new friends. That is so good.
We're family now.
I'm just learning. Look at how much honey we have.
Do you believe?
But every move felt offbeat. While she taught listeners how to live with grace and purpose, her brand stumbled, backtracked, and then outright collapsed. How do you build a lifestyle empire when your own life, at least in the public eye, feels like a blooper reel? The disconnect wasn't subtle, and neither was the response. Let's rewind. Remember the multi-million-dollar deals with Spotify and Netflix? She had the money, the platform, and the narrative control. And yet, she lost the plot. Spotify, one podcast season, no follow-up, and execs reportedly brainstorming wild concepts like Prince Harry reviews hot chocolate. Netflix, a pseudo-documentary that turned into Royal Gossip Hour, and a lifestyle series that seemed to steal from Pamela Anderson's playbook. Inspiring, maybe for someone else. What was once pitched as meaningful content became performance art without purpose. For someone who preaches substance, Meghan couldn't seem to hold on to any, but she wasn't done yet. In 2024, Meghan launched American Riviera Orchard. A name that sounded like a tongue twister and looked like a Pinterest board come to life. The teaser, a blurry, soft-focus trailer of her frolicking barefoot, holding peaches like crown jewels. For an entire year after, there was silence. Then suddenly she popped back online, posting idyllic shots of her children. Yes, the same kids she once demanded privacy for, and announcing a new show with Love Meghan. Supposedly, that show would feature her lifestyle products, but when it finally aired, no mention of the products, no jars, no teasers, just vibes. What started as a brand moment became a mood board in motion, confusing and forgettable. Still, Meghan wasn't about to accept defeat. She had one more card to play. Her podcast was supposed to be a reflection of growth, a founder's journey, a lesson in leadership, but it ended up sounding more like a PR tug of war. In the final bonus episode, she reflected on her jam launch, the one that allegedly sold out in under an hour, and admitted they made it scarce on purpose.
It was extremely good, and a lot of people asked to taste it.
She compared it to a sneaker drop, said it was strategic, then said maybe it was annoying, then flipped again and said she wanted it to be on everyone's shelf all the time. Which is it? She confessed they'd planned for a year and yet somehow didn't plan for success. 1 minute, she's pausing to gather data. The next, she's back on Instagram teasing new drops. It was a strategy stitched together in real time, based not on vision, but on vibes and backlash. And then came the twist that proved just how hollow that strategy really was. Because just when it looked like the brand was taking a breath, just when it seemed Meghan had decided to regroup and refocus, she dropped a post that blew it all up again. So what did Meghan do next? After publicly declaring she'd pause all new as ever products until 2026, she logged back onto Instagram hours later and posted a photo of berries. The caption, "A full contradiction, your favorites are returning." Plus, a few new things. Coming this month. Wait, what? Wasn't there just a podcast saying the brand was paused? A Fast Company interview confirming no releases till next year? Now, in less than 24 hours, it's back on. No strategy, no clarity, just vibes again. And to make it worse, Fast Company had to publish a correction at the bottom of their article. Yes, an actual correction because Meghan couldn't keep her own story straight. The pause wasn't a reset, it was a PR glitch, one she patched with berry photos and a caption. This is where the trust broke. Not because of jam, but because of the constant contradiction. For every glossy photo Meghan posted, there was a whiplash-inducing U-turn that followed. The audience wasn't buying jam anymore, they were buying confusion. Meghan said she wanted to gather data, but if you need to study your audience after a launch, maybe you weren't ready to begin with. If the jam sold out so fast, shouldn't you keep selling it? The public wasn't annoyed because products were popular, they were annoyed because nothing added up. Scarcity was sold as strategy, but felt like scrambling. The rollout felt less like a plan, and more like a panic button being hit on repeat. This wasn't brand building, it was brand roulette. Luxury lifestyle, farmhouse chic, modern royalty, kitchen staples. The truth is, no one knows what as ever is, and that's the real problem. 1 week it's a high-end jam drop. The next, Meghan hints at hospitality. Then, she floats fashion. But when your brand can't answer the simple question of, who is this for? You lose your audience before they even check out. Trademark issues? Yep. Confusion with an existing NYC brand? Also, yes, a Chinese company already holding the name for clothing? Absolutely. The whole thing felt slapped together without the homework. And while the legal team scrambled, the branding team seemed asleep.
In a video posted to the official Sussex Royal Instagram account, Meghan can be heard saying to one child, "Look at all your little teeth. Archie's just got 2 teeth, 2 tiny ones right there."
One woman whose husband is in the armed forces told Army and You magazine that talking to Meghan was just like talking to a friend. The town of Windsor, where Harry and Meghan live, has a large barracks and hosts some of the household cavalry, a regiment Harry served in during his early Army days.
To distract from the brand chaos, Meghan leaned into the one story she knows best, being a mom. She opened a Fast Company interview talking about Archie's tooth, shared how she stayed up cuddling him before an early meeting. Sweet? Maybe?
And at the same time to prioritize what we're going to put out as our next tranche of SKUs as equally important to me as Archie losing his first tooth this week, which is about to happen, and I just hope we're back home in time for it. That it all matters.
Strategic? Definitely, because every time as ever is questioned, Meghan pivots back to motherhood. Like the video she posted of herself dancing with her baby bump.
Drop it down, drop it down, down low. Drop it down, drop it down, down low. Drop it down, drop it down, down low. Do the baby mama when I step out on the top. Work. Drop it in, drop it down, down low. Drop it in, drop it down, down low. Drop it in, drop it down.
Like being a parent automatically makes you a brand builder, but parenting isn't product development. Waking up at 2 a.m. doesn't sell jam. The public saw through it fast. You can't plaster personal anecdotes over a missing business plan and expect applause. And when you try, the applause turns into eye rolls. But if there was ever a moment that truly shattered the illusion, it came through Meghan's own voice. On her podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, Meghan sat down with entrepreneur Jaime Kern-Lima for what was supposed to be a raw, intimate heart-to-heart. She dabbed her eyes, her voice cracked. She spoke of pressure, anxiety, and the weight of visibility. It was emotional, or at least, it tried to be.
So many people also have this question for you is, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
I know you always make it about me. Today, which by the way, I just have to say, you are the most generous friend. You show up for your friends. Today, I just get to talk about you, which I'm excited about. But how are you doing? There's so much going on.
Good. I'm good. There's it's a lot of pinch me moments right now. And at the same time, I think because I'm so busy with so many different things, and for each of those projects, as you mentioned, the show or the podcast or the brand, the business, the most important thing that I work on every day, my practice, is trying to really integrate it, to integrate the joy.
Because the tears, they never came. Listeners weren't moved, they were skeptical, especially after a clip resurfaced of Meghan laughing on camera, boasting she could cry on cue, even joking, "Left eye, go." Suddenly, this podcast didn't feel like vulnerability. It felt like theater, a stage without footlights, dressed up as self-care.
Now make yourself cry. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
And then Jaime added, "When I look in your eyes, I feel cosmic light." It didn't feel like a conversation. It felt like a coronation. What could have been her most human moment became just another performance. The public didn't feel seen. They felt sold to. And that's the fatal flaw in Meghan's empire. You can sell jam, but you can't fake the truth. And here's the core of it all. Everything Meghan puts out is surface level. Aesthetic without architecture, feminism without focus, empowerment without execution. She says the right things. Authentic, intentional, elevated. But where's the substance?
People do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
Oh, how fun is that? I love it.
Her quotes are Pinterest perfect but empty. Like when she said, "If I had to write a resume, I don't know what I'd call myself, but all the notes are part of the same song." Sounds poetic, sure, but what does it mean? The reality? Her brand is everything and nothing at once. One day she's a duchess, the next a startup founder, the next a podcast host, then a Martha Stewart tribute act. There's no consistency, just roles played for PR moments. And the audience? They're exhausted. That song line didn't just confuse people, it defined the entire mess. Because Meghan Markle isn't misunderstood, she's misbranded. She says she's multifaceted, but really she's evasive. 1 foot in royalty, 1 foot in influencer culture, and both slipping on banana peels of contradiction. And it's not just about jam jars or captions, it's about identity. When a public figure changes their image more than their outfit, the public stops believing. And when you lose trust, you lose everything. You can't keep reinventing yourself every 6 months and expect loyalty, because if you don't know who you are, why should we? And now, here we are. Meghan Markle didn't just botch a brand, she botched the belief. The kind that keeps audiences curious, customers loyal, and critics at bay. Overexposure, contradiction, hollow messaging. It's a cocktail no brand survives, especially not one built on public trust. The lesson: if you want people to buy what you're selling, you better believe in it more than your next Instagram reel. Because even the most glittery rollouts can't hide a crumbling foundation forever. And when that foundation collapses, no palace walls, royal or not, can hold it together. She promised elevation. All we got was confusion in a crystal jar. As ever wasn't a lifestyle, it was a lifeline, one that snapped under the weight of mixed messages and mismatched ambition. And now Meghan stands exactly where she started, under the spotlight, but out of sync. So the question isn't whether she'll try again. She will. The real question is, will anyone still be watching? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.